example of the somite, notochord, neural tube, right? Somite, and then here's dorsal aorta, knees out here, vitelline blood vessels out here, and then there's this right here. This becomes another coelomic space. These coelomic spaces are going to fuse, and when they fuse, they're going to form the intraembryonic coelom. Okay. Now we're going to move to, now we're going to move to the 48, the chick at 48 hours. Okay. Now for here, we're going to get sections. Here's where we have sections that have been cut through the embryo. You'll notice that the embryo starts to turn, and we're going to get sections when we cut through them that are going to have tissues at different locations of the embryo, but the embryo's head is turned to the side. So we're going to get areas of the head, then areas of the back that aren't that are not necessarily connected to one another in the section. You follow me? In other words, if this is the head right here, we're not going to get this portion of the neck next. We're going to get this portion of the neck with this portion of the head. And that's by virtue of the folding of the embryo at that location. So now we have section 48-1, 48-hour embryo. Again, go with what you recognize, right? Go with what you recognize. This here looks like neuroectoderm. This here looks like neuroectoderm, and it is. It's neuroectoderm. These look like they could be the eyes. This is actually the lens right here, and this is what's going to develop into the eye. It has an internal fold and an external margin to the cup. Okay, and this becomes the sensory retina right here, and this becomes the pigmented retina, or retinal. It will develop into the retinal pigment epithelium. This is the optic vessel. This becomes the developing optic vessel. Okay, and it develops from the optic placoid at an earlier stage. So what is dorsal and what is ventral to this image? Not really a fair question. That's why I asked it, because really this is cranial and this is caudal. This is the head at this location, but this as we move backward, this is neuroectoderm as well, right? And we've got a section through the diencephalon and what is referred to as the myelencephalon, okay? So how do we get that? We get that if the brain is in a U shape. So it's the brain's in U shape and then gets cut, then you're going to get the diencephalon here, which is an anterior structure in the brain, and the myelencephalon, which is going to develop into what? Myelencephalon develops into what region of the brain? The spinal cord. The medulla. What region of the brain is associated with the diencephalon? Okay. That would be the thalamus. Okay, so when the brain develops, remember it starts with those 3 different divisions, and then those divisions become 5. Cranial to caudal, there's telencephalon, diencephalon, mesencephalon, metencephalon, and myelencephalon. So here we have the diencephalon here, and we have the myelencephalon here. So the way we've gotten there is that the brain is folded over, and we're getting a cut through the diencephalon and the myelencephalon. The mesencephalon is basically coming out of the screen at us because we've gotten this folded embryo. So we're making a cut here, for example. This line right here, we'll go through the mesencephalon here, the diencephalon here, and then the myelencephalon here, and the mesencephalon and metencephalon are here and here respectively. Okay? You should know regions of the brain that are representative of or anatomic parts of the brain that are representative of the 5 different regions of the brain. The cerebrum is representative of the telencephalon. The hypothalamus and thalamus are representatives of the diencephalon. The midbrain and cerebellar aqueduct are representative of the mesencephalon. The cerebellum and pons are representative of the metencephalon, and the medulla oblongata is representative of the myelencephalon. So this becomes lens. This is the developing eye. The inner is the sensory retina. The outer is the pigmented retina. This is diencephalon. This is myelencephalon. And then we start to get the structures at this level, okay? And this here becomes the foregut. This is the foregut, I should say. And this is the first of the aortic arches. Question?
Do we have all those things you just listed somewhere in the PowerPoint?
Precardinal vein.